What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Hello, folks. What the fuck was I doing there? I did that. Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. Thank you for coming back. I'm not looking you dead in the eyes just yet. Go ahead and follow those socials because this is Edge2 Gaming / Edge2 Otaku, especially if you're on YouTube. If you have not followed the Edge2 Otaku page on YouTube, fucking do that now. But I'm Elijah 5000, and we are here today to read the official chapter for One Piece 1189. I do believe we have a break week next week, so I'm going to pull this up for you, and we're going to go page by page, line by line, and read this week's chapter and get some clarification on all these fucking new weapons, legendary weapons, king weapons, and also emo talking shit, because Emu this week had to come out and prove that everybody that was bitching about Emu's power and Emu can't leave Mary Joie, blah blah blah, I was like, well, hold Emu's fucking beer, bitch. Emu's about to fucking leave and we about to get some ass, and that's what they did. So now that my earbuds are on, you've thoroughly stared at my forehead, you follow the socials. Oh, we need to bring this up too, because we have to say hello to the sponsors of the show. But I'm Elijah 5000, aka Elijah Bailey. Thank you guys for joining me for this week's episode of One Piece chapter 1189. Are you fucking joking me, dude? See, this is why I don't know what it is. Headsets are just not as reliable as they used to be back in the day. I think I have my earbuds in here. I don't know if I want to wait for it. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab those because it's not even pulling up. But while I do that, let me give you guys a recap of last week's chapter. We thought things were bad for the boy Monkey D, Luffy, because he was fighting Emu and Emu pulled out a knife and fucking stabbed him. And there was nothing to be done. Luffy's power, life essence, was being absorbed. In this battle with the great Emu, we finally got a actual ass whooping from Emu. Emu just came out and whooped his ass. So now we are here. This week's chapter, Monkey D. Luffy is still in the battle, but what is going to happen? Because we saw that Gunko, aka Princess Shuri, was being thawed out of the ice because Ragnar accidentally fell into the ice. And then we got a little bit more story with Brook. We saw what the other Straw Hats were doing. We saw Luffy getting beat up and running from Emu, and really showing us the depth of Emu's power. And everybody's like, oh, well, Loki's stronger than Luffy because Loki did this. Loki's a big bitch, but he is still on the ground leaking. We read this chapter. Luffy's been hit and got back up. You know what I mean? We are going to see more of Luffy's capabilities, but don't shit on this man. Goddamn national hero. He's a treasure. He's Nika. He's Joy Boy. So let's go ahead and open up this chapter. But before we do that, dude, I was about to be disrespectful as fuck. I just talked these people up because I love their shit. Anytime that I'm hungry, I'm like, you know what? I need something that is healthy, that is high protein, high fiber, low carbs, low sodium, that will help replenish all of my nutrients that I expel at the gym. I go to one of our sponsors, and one that has been a sponsor of the show for, I don't know how long now. It's been a long time. But Emmy Eats Ramen. Go to IMMIEATS.com. Use promo code EDGE2G to get $5 off your purchase. Online only. You can use their store locator and see where they have stores local, and you can go pick it up there. But if you just want it delivered from A to B straight to your house, pick from one of these 6 flavors: black garlic chicken, tumya. Oh shit, it's about to. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't freeze up. Oh, there we go. We're going to go backwards today, folks. Fuck it. This is what happens when you use your free Amazon Prime subscription and sub to the channel. You get mix-ups like this. It gets zany as fuck. But you get the roasted pork tonkatsu, the creamy chicken. I don't know if I need the creamy, but the spicy red miso is good. The spicy beef is good. Tom yum shrimp. Those are your flavors. Edge2G at checkout to get $5 off your purchase. And then, oh no, where's the switcheries.com? If you go to switcheries.com, Oh no, that's not switcheries. Oh, dude. Uh-oh. 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 Let me check this out, folks. We might have lost the sponsor. Or is this just fucking with me? Why is it saying it's not a... Okay, so for some reason, I'm getting a notification this is a fucking, like a store link that I've forgotten. It's not letting me open it. But switcheries.com. Ooh, actually, fuck it. I remember, because if you guys have been with me the last couple of days, we've been watching Aoshi, and if you don't know what Aoshi is, I am on a journey to figure out what the best soccer sports anime is, and to watch soccer anime, because I did not know how many that we had. That being said, it is. Okay, so I was right. Switcheries is down for today. So switcheries.com, you cannot go to them. I will check all throughout this week to see when the website will be back up. It was up yesterday. You can go there to get your Nintendo Switch thumb grips, cases, covers, anything like that. And they specialize in doing custom orders, video game and anime theme. Use promo code EDGE10 to get 10% off there. But like I said, the website is currently down. Don't know when they'll come back up. Check Twitter and I will let you guys know. Any other sponsors of the show? Not right now. The only thing I gotta say is if you're not reading One Piece, you're missing out. And if you don't want to read, that's fine. I'll read it to you. Just lay your head down on my shoulder. I'll read it. Like now, we're getting ready to go into 1189, titled King of the World. We see Nami here scolding three monkeys. Read a request. Nadi, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil monkeys getting scolded by Nami, by Toshika Zu, by Oda. And of course they look like Zoro is covering his mouth, Luffy is laughing but covering his eyes slightly, you know, the Nika pose, hand on his head, and then Sanji is hard-eyed but covering his fucking ears. We always love Sanji. Sanji gets a little shout out this week, and I can't wait for next week's chapter. I'm going to go into predictions right after this, after we finish this read. But here we go. Luffy, Emu, fucking Rinnegan stare, and then as Luffy is huffing and puffing, we see him thrust him into the tree, and this fucking thrust straight through the tree moves, and Luffy is just stuck. And then our boy Usopp, it has been confirmed, he senses Luffy. What? Hey, what is it, Usopp? What happened? Nami says. Luffy's okay, right? Usopp says. And then Nami goes, what? What do you mean? Don't scare me. Because they're not with Luffy. They're all the way back with Loki. So now this is the first time that we've really seen anything from Usopp. He is using his observation haki in the sense that Luffy's in trouble. Nami, when has Luffy ever not been okay? And then Jinbei comes in like the smart older man of the crew. Consider what it means that this enormous giant was defeated, Nami. Loki, hey, Fishman, who's been defeated? And I love the fact that he is just like Gaban. He ain't gonna let shit go whether he's beat up or not. Jinbei continues with Ragnar looking cute, looking at him just in awe. Ragnar likes two people, Loki, Jinbei. Jinbei says there's no doubt that Luffy's haki suddenly grew much weaker. So Nami is not using Conqueror's haki. Has it been confirmed she has it? We've seen some instances, one in a joke, one with Zeus being haki coated. Observation is not her skill. We go back to the Thinker and the Dead Bones Brook. Frankie, there, the ice is totally melted now. And Brook, Princess Shuri. And Frankie continues, don't heat her up too quickly, all right? And then Brooke says, not to worry, I have no body warmth. What happened to you after that? What happened all those years ago? It is you, isn't it? He says as he's leaning in, spitting on her face. Because, you know, Brooke he's got tears coming down. He's yelling. And then he's just looking at her. Princess Shuri. And here comes Ragnar. Kiriri, just sitting here talking. And one thing is going to happen. It's not happening now, which I wish it fucking would. When it happens, it's going to be a huge payoff. But he's sitting there yelling at Brooke. But Usopp pulls his Kanabo out. And who is he pointing at? And then we hear, hey, please don't interfere here. And then we hear Kiriri Kirikiki again. Ragnar is speaking, and then we hear Usopp jump in. It's safe, right, Brooke? If she's still a scary version. And then we see a Sval heading towards them. As it comes down, and I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, that's right. Chief Jerome is going to send them. So it comes down. We're going too fast, Harun. And then we see him yelling, Gerd yelling, ah, whoa. And then Loki is sitting there and just grimaces as it fucking collides in him. Ragnar jumps on out of the way. We see the Straw Hats getting out of the way where they can. And Chopper does guard point, but boom. And it looks like he does guard point right on Loki's balls, too, where Gerd was getting ready to fall head first. Harun fell over Loki's face and his shoulder, and the boat just broke in half. Gah! Eek! And we hear Chopper, guard point. Then we see Usopp, Nami, and Jinbei. What were you guys trying to do? Harun, Gerd, Chopper, Nami says after Usopp exclaims. Then we see Nami running up to hug Chopper. Oh, thank you, Chopper. You're so cute. Oh, no, Gerd is hugging Chopper after she landed on him. Says, oh, thank you, Chopper. You're so cute and helpful, which everybody loves Chopper. Robin, Gerd. And when he see him, he's shrinking back down, but just shaking his head happy. And he says, oh, well, yeah, well, you can't butter me up, you jerk, as he's dancing on Loki's leg. Then Gerd looks at Loki with her fingers. Remember, she had her 4 fingers and her thumb cut off by Emu when he got here. And she's like, no time to waste. Loki, show me your wounds. And eek, there's blood everywhere, all over Loki's body. Loki has not only been stabbed by Emu twice in the same spot, but he's been fucking busted up by his older brother and a Sval. And Gerd continues, you're all bloody. Oh, no. And then he yells, yeah, and some of that was because of you. What are you doing here? Harun starts to wake up. And he thinks back as someone says, if you're just going to fight Harun, and we see that as Chief Tyrrell, then go to Loki instead. And Harun's like, but the children. And Chief Tyrrell says, even if you save the children, it is only a temporary reprieve. Do you really think that this plan to rule over Elbaf came from the decision makers at the Reverie? He's like, what? What do you mean? And Tyrrell looks over and he says, no, of course not. I think it's him. And then we go back to the present, to Harun standing up looking. He says, Loki, do you know who that guy is? And Gerald made this announcement a couple chapters ago that Loki was framed by the world government, and there was an evil force behind it. So that's as much as Harun knows. Then we skip over to Emu and Luffy. Emu pulls out another sword, and we see that more branches are crumbling around him. Hang on, did we go too far? There we go. Yeah, after the Chief Tyrrell deal, I skipped a little bit. We gotta go back. After he says, do you know who that guy is? Loki looks at him and says, yeah, I think I do. And we see off in the distance, Elbaf is burning. And now we're at Emu and Luffy. He holds up his hand. A sword starts to come out of his black banner. That's what I'm going to call it. That black halo he's got. He says, thou canst not move now. And then Luffy is just wheezing, stuck, pinned to the tree. Emu doesn't say nothing. He got 2 hands on that sword, and he says, that sword devours thy vitality. And he looks as Luffy's barely, look at his eyes, barely open and blood coming out of his nose and shit, just barely hanging on, but still in Gear 5. Emu says, how many will it take to end thee? And we see this blade swirling with black flames and an X on it. He says, Monkey D. Luffy, a hateful name. Thou hast 2 brothers of different names. And we see just Emu just looking at him, just like, nigga, I hate you. I hate your brothers. Let me tell you how much I hate you. And he says, 1 brother slaughtered by the Navy, branches crumbling near the sword. Luffy's looking back. He can't move. He's pinned to the tree, but he's huffing faster and faster. And then Imu says, the other prominent within the revolutionary armies, as he reels back his hand, the sword, and then he thrust straight dead into Luffy's chest. Blade of the sea god, Fregarach. And Luffy says, as we see more flames. Flames still on the first blade, the blade of nothingness. Flames now on the blade of the sea god. Flames coming off of Imu's halo. And Imu says, in any case, a set of most uncouth brothers, as Luffy spits blood up. It's gotta be him, Loki says, because we pan back to the brothers, and then Loki continues, the one red hair talked about, and we go all the way back to the day at Ahurst Castle when King Harold he got slaughtered by his son. He had to relinquish his life to not be controlled by the world government and to try to free Elbaf. On this day, they're all in the throne room. Chief Thrall, Loki, Skopper Gaban, and Shanks. And he says, I'll use this power to avenge the memory of my old man and his soldiers. And Skopper just looks on somberly with, I don't know, maybe, it's bandages on his eye, I think. I think he's already got bandages. Yeah, because his chest is bandaged up too, so they've already mended to their wounds. And we see Shanks says, wait, Loki, I understand your rage, but... And Loki yells, what do you want, Red Hair? Are you going to stop me from getting revenge for my father? I consider Harold a friend too, Shanks says. I'd be right there with you. But think carefully now. The government wasn't trying to take control of Elbaf. That's not their end goal. It's preparation for the war. And Shanks digs in because at this point he has left. He is stepped away from the Knights of God. He saw what they were doing to Harold. He knows what's going on. His infiltration over the last few years has paid off. But now he has to try to tame Loki's rage. This is why Loki hates Shanks and thinks Shanks is a coward, because Shanks didn't take that time to go after the world government. Right after all this shit went down, he said, it's not the time, we gotta wait. Shanks and Loki face to face. Loki says, is the world government getting into a war or with someone else? Well, that ain't my problem, he says. My father died an unjust death. His soldiers were killed along with him. I want vengeance for those crimes. That's all. He was made to kill his father right after his dad told him he loved him. He saw what was going on, why things had changed, and then it really solidified his faith in Davy D. Zebek and following his own path. And Shanks looks up at him, he says, and who's guilty? Who will you strike down? The world government, he yells. And Shanks says, the man who manipulated Harold was the king of the world. Then we see Loki laugh, Geralt in shock, and this has already... Gaban already knows. Gaban was there. He was helping carry Garp and Roger away from Zebek's death. Geralt says, what do you mean, Shanks? The entire concept of the world government is that there is no one king who... And Shanks says, or Gaban says, careful, Shanks. And Shanks says, it's fine. No one will believe it. And then Loki, so I guess that king is the culprit. I'll take his head, nice and simple. And then Shanks looks up at him and speaks that shit, that real talk that he always does. The king's power is impossible to measure. Go to the Holy Land, and the mystery will only deepen rather than come to light. If it were that simple, someone else would have done it already. And that right there, Loki remembers like, goddamn. The man that I idolized instead of my dad, that told me to look to my dad, that was my dad's best friend, Davy D. Zebek. Shit. He says some shit about this. Fuck. And then, after just sitting in shock, realizing what Shanks is saying, Shanks says, it's not yet the time to fight. Loki turns around with the soldiers and leaves. He says, shut your mouth. You don't tell me what to do. I don't care where this guy is. I'll destroy anything in my way. And Geralt yells as Loki finally departs. Don't be foolish, Loki. And snow falls, or continues to fall at Ahurst Castle. We come back to the present. I left home and spent a few years abroad. In the end, I never did find my way to him. So if that's the king of the world right there, I'll never get a better chance. The brothers... This is why He wanted him to rule as dual king. Some asshole out there don't know how to fucking drive. I gotta watch this shit right out in front of my house. We go, we zoom in as Gerd is still bandaging up Loki's chest. And then Harun says, a simpleton's idea of a plan. And he goes, what? But I've got no problem with it. Give me a chance to avenge my father. The brothers are these are the Dudley brothers right here. About to see him go like this. Right here. They at least gonna try on Emu, so I like this because Harun he's a part of the Grand Fleet. Loki's about to squat up in one way or fashion. But we go back to the Straw Hats, and Jinbei says, this is an absurd story. Nami, if there's a king of the world, then what are the 5 elders for? No, stop trying to interfere if you don't mind, Brooke says as he's yelling to Ragnar, who opens his paws, and we see like little pads on his paws. Fucking cute. And he goes, Curie, ree. And now our boy, this is what I've been waiting for, Chopper jumps in. He says, I froze her because she's dangerous. And then Brooke says, what? You're the one who froze her? Yes, she was dangerous. But I'm certain that was being controlled. I'm certain that she was being controlled, Brooke says. You see, this girl is like a daughter to me. Kiriri? And he's looking confused, trying to figure out how a bitch with blue hair and skin is a skeleton with an afro's daughter. And then we see Chopper over, and it's crazy. He just goes over to Robin. Oh no, he's talking to Nami, and Robin pops in. I forgot she used that jutsu. Now that she can kind of rose petal her body, she can instant transmission anywhere. Robin comes over here to Chopper, pedals around her, says, this is all very interesting. Robin, Nami says, come to the library, Chopper. And then he looks over to the left and he sees Saul, and that's where Robin is. So she sent her pedal jutsu clone over to get him, and Saul waves, hiya. Then we go back to the boy in trouble, Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, and Emu, Saint Emu Nerona, and says, next is, as an axe comes forth from the flames, Luffy, he says, this will do more than slash thee. Alas, the third will be axe of Zingten. And Luffy, he ain't even got pupils in his eyes no more. He is after Kaido clubbed him, eyes white, but he's still hanging on. He's still hanging on. He has not willed himself out of this mode. He has not powered down yet. But before we get to what happens next, we go to the Sea Cloud port in Western Village. On the ship, King of Hell, 3-sword serpent, 103 mercies, with black flames engulfed around a long sword over his right shoulder. Zoro continues, dragon, damnation, and strikes with all 3 blades, and it hits the boy Saint Summer's attack called Graham. And he talks to Zoro as they're sitting in that Conqueror's hockey, and Omen is on his back. 800 years ago, the 19 kings who created the world took an oath of equality, thrusting their weapons into the floor around the empty throne. Because, you know, this nigga's, if you watch the film Gold, the big one, the like all that, the masochist shit, he's like, ooh, Zoro, go ahead and touch me. Summers is like him being touched right now, but also Summers brimming with that Omen energy. And Zoro don't give a fuck about stories. He's still striking. He's in it, deep in it, just right there with Summers. And Summers goes, blade of chaos, Tohu, Fohu, Nemesis, Longinus, Stigma, Muramasa. They are the 19 weapons of those who brought the world to the heel, and they clash and separate. Zoro knocked on his ass with an indention on the floor of the boat is sitting there as Summers stands with his sword over his left arm, still talking. The Great One used Omen to bring them back and grant them to us. There are no lies among the legends each family passed down. You see, Roronoa Zolo? Then we go to our final double page. He says, from the Shepherd family, as he extends the sword with thorns around it, he says, Graham, Zoro's just staring at him like, I don't give a fuck what you name the sword, bitch. Okay, good. Hey, Graham, I'm gonna whoop you and his ass. And then we travel over to where Sanji is fighting Saint Killingham, and Killingham must be giving the same speech too, and says, this spear has been passed down through the Remo Shifu family, Longinus. And he just extends his sword, showing it off to Sanji, and Sanji has got the same look in his eye, like, nigga, that rain on my ass, you have all these monsters, I don't give a fuck about your sword, let's go. The same looks they gave Kaku and Jabara back in Endless Lobby. And now we go to the final battle, the axe in hand, on the right side of Imu's shoulder, getting ready to strike Luffy. Thou shalt be honored to die by the weapons that created the world. Luffy is in panic. He ain't got no pupils, but he can see what's going on. He can't move. He's pinned to the tree by 2 swords already. But then our boy with the long bushel of hair, the captain, the co-signer of love, the enthusiast of romance, comes in with 2 axes and hits, clashes, blocks, strikes with Imu right before Luffy. And Imu looks at him, and we see Scopper Gaban grinning like the devil he is from the Roger Pirates, face black, almost like hockey-fied, just right there, like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna show you what's up, because I gotta save my little brother real quick. I told him to really utilize his hockey, but he didn't believe me. His homeboys over there, they're getting ready to hockey up, but right now we're gonna hockey clash, and I'm gonna whoop your ass a little bit, Emu, because I know who you are, and you ain't about to kill the Straw Hats. That is the end of chapter 1189. Now, do we think, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now, is this going to be something that we think is going to happen? Is Scopper Gaban going to die? Do you think Scopper is out of here trying to defend Luffy so Luffy can eat again, or either just come back? Luffy's going to either bump back, or he's going to have to eat and get stronger and come back to fight Emu, to knock Emu off of Elbaf. And by the time that happens, the time limit, I think Emu's going to be beat by time limit versus by Luffy or any particular person. Scopper's already injured. He's been slightly healed by Chopper. He's just holding them off. Next chapter is going to be more Zoro Sanji fighting these weapons. We're going to see what these weapons can do and how they're fashioned to each house, which is going to give us better understanding of both Shamrock's Sibera sword and Shanks's Phoenix sword, Ace. And this will give us more insight to not only these characters we've been trying to figure out why they have these swords, it's going to give us insight into swords in the world of One Piece, because there are more sword users than not in the world of One Piece. Even with all the devil fruit users, swords play a very important part, and there's lineage. We know that the Shimotsuki's Wano swordsman's blacksmith forged these swords that have been used all over the world, and most of them have become like black blades. But we also have other weapons that have had black blade status, because there is a blade built into Naginatas, different fashion long swords. So very important. And we see everybody, great pirates have them. Roger had them, Whitebeard, Mihawk, Shanks, Zebek, Harold. These niggas have these swords. Shamrock, Summers, so they mean something. Emu's using swords now. Swords are very, very important and a definite defining part within what happened at 800 years ago, what's happening throughout the Harley, and then what happens in each era with these pirates. Not only their will, but their will to imprint it on these swords, or at least fashion different moves and techniques that utilize that. So as we go on, we're going to see more from swords, because Emu's going to go through his Rolodex of the 19 Kings, the legendary 19 King swords, but we're also going to see how important they are. It's not just, it has a name, where this name come from, why, what did this shape in the battle. We're going to get a little bit of a snippet, if you will, of what's coming in this battle royale, and how Emu, or the world, versus this next group of pirates and Joy Boy, we're going to see and get potential matchups for these weapons, because one takes vitality, so something has to give life, give vitality. And are we going to get an explanation on why Chopper could slap the Domi Reversi giants out of Domi Reversi? I don't know, but these things will hint to how to beat these weapons or counteract them, because Elbaf, Wano, and these other locations that were secluded after this war were liberated and were able to hold their liberation in succession from the world government. Why and how? Has to be abilities to stop what Imu has in store. So that's all I have. I enjoyed this chapter. Did I had to go back and see if we got a fucking break this week. I cannot remember. But if we do, then I will, I mean, you guys are with me. I'm actually going to do this stream right after. Give me a couple minutes just to grab something to eat. But there is a Aoshi Gauntlet. Again, I'm watching soccer anime, trying to go through all of them and tier rank them. So I will be watching that. It'll be 3 episodes for an hour and a half. Just come back here, join me. I'll rank each episode. It's a great time. I just found out there is a break this upcoming week. So the rest of this week, or at least until Monday, we'll have Aoshi, and then I will start streaming some other things, but you have to come here to see that. So make sure to turn on your notifications, like the page, follow, all that good shit, and join me for these streams. Thank you guys so much. I got to get something to drink. I gotta grab me something to eat before we get into the next one, and I will catch you in the next stream for One Piece, which will be the brief spoilers in about a week. I will have some other anime things for you. There's a new manga that come out, and it very, very much feels like an early One Piece. I think you guys need to know what it is. Thank you. Peace out. I'll see you around.